Hello and welcome to Screen Views. I'm Dave.
I'm James.
And this is the weekly podcast where we give our views on a film and TV show.
Each episode is unscripted, unedited, so anything can happen. Listeners should be aware that we do include spoilers, so feel free to fast forward, rewind, or simply buckle up and enjoy a somewhat coherent conversation.
Our podcast is based on the idea that there's no such thing as a bad movie. Therefore, for every review, we'll give a recommendation instead of a rating.
But first up, we're going to have a quick discussion about what we talked about last week to see if our opinions have changed. And we're rolling. We're back.
Yep.
Yeah, boom, boom.
Here we go.
We've just done a podcast on Handmaid's Tale with the TV version of this podcast.
Yeah.
And now this is the film version.
I keep fiddling with my pop filter.
Cool. Glad you finished that conversation.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just aware.
Yeah.
You just create technical issues for ourselves.
It's always the beginning. So last week we watched Solo. And so, has your opinion changed on Solo at all?
Not really. I don't think so.
I felt like I had to defend my opinion quite a few times.
Yeah, although I don't know.
When I say defend it, people go like, okay, so I'm thinking about watching Solo. I've heard it's really bad, and like people want me to give them a terrible view of the movie. And like when I give them my views, like but I've heard it's like actually really bad. It's like they won't accept my review.
But this is what annoys me is like judging like a film before you've seen it. Like I mean, I suppose it just goes to show how word of mouth is still so strong in terms of marketing and advertising. Yeah, and if you can get word of mouth down, you do create buzz. I think people just need to give it a go. Don't be so negative all the time.
But I think it's trending to not like it and not want to.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that as well because I'm just like, form your own opinion. Yeah. Ignore other people's opinion. Go and watch it. Form your own opinion. Listen to Screen Views. See if you agree with it. And then walk off happy. You don't need to read any other reviews.
Although I just realised
we're the only one that counts.
The irony of advertising listening to Screen Views on Screen Views.
I know.
Welcome to Screen Views. Remember, listen to Screen Views every week.
Well, it's word of mouth, James. You know? That's what is going to win us the day with this podcast is word of mouth. Yeah. People talk about it.
Yeah. Gonna see Gran this weekend? Talk about Screen Views. It's gonna walk the dog? Just the random people at Screen Views. And so it hasn't really changed that much. I think I might watch it again, like possibly next week if I'm bored and when I for the afternoon, I might go see it again. But I've seen it twice now. I thought it's a great introduction for kids to the Star Wars universe. I feel like it should have been marketed like that. I think it would have been a lot better. But my opinion hasn't really changed that much.
Yeah. So, I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's one of those films that I'm not really giving it that much thought. Like it's not. But I mean, it's not meant to be that kind of film. Yeah. But I think it's that thing that I think it's interesting because we saw that it was like number one in the box office, and in my head it was like a complete bomb. Yeah. And I was like, well, how is it number one in the box office? So. People must be going to see it. Yeah. So
people are still seeing it, but like the good word isn't getting out. I think a lot of people want to also. It's also trending. They hate it. They want to see it, so you can say, I totally agree.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. Well, I suppose if that works. Yeah. But I think keep an open mind is like important, and don't knock it till you tried it. Yeah. It's like, oh, have you tried that new restaurant? I've heard it's really bad. It's like, well, how do you how do you know if your tastes are going to be the same as somebody else? It just, I don't know. It hurts my logical brain a little bit with that. But I think I think like people like to fit in with the crowd, don't they? But we're saying form your own opinion, and then see if that opinion agrees with our opinions. Hashtag Screen Views. Tell people about it. Word of mouth.
Definitely.
Okay, should we move on?
Yes.
Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So, 2.5 hours before, basically, I had 2.5 hours to watch the first one, and then I was going to a gym class, and then I went straight to cinema. I changed a lot. I went straight to the cinema. And so when I got home, 2.5 hours left. The film is 2 hours 5 minutes. The first film, and my flatmate started talking to me, and I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I need to stop talking to you. I need to start watching this. And so I very quickly said, look, I need to watch a film. I'm sorry. I'll talk to you later on. And I managed to squeeze in the first film before watching the second film. So first one was alright. It was okay.
Right.
I had some issues with it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, a lot of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
In
a lot of dinosaurs, and there's a dinosaur trying to kill you, and so the solution is release another dinosaur. I still don't understand why. It's lucky. The ending is lucky, and like, but I don't understand why the first dinosaur didn't just kill them. I literally don't understand the family. You literally said if you keep an animal in captivity, it will go crazy, and so to defeat the animal with the main baddie, she released another animal who's also in captivity. It just doesn't make sense in terms of the information the film gives you. The solution to the film doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But anyway, that's the first film.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Bigger dinosaur kills the.
Well, we're spoiling.
That's not a spoiler.
For this podcast, we're spoiling the second film.
Yeah. So we're assuming that you've watched the first film.
Yeah. If you're watching a spoiler-filled review of the second film, you're thinking, "Hey, I don't want to know about the second film, not the first film. How dare you?"
Yes, that is very logical, James. You're right about that. Okay, where do we start with? Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom.
At the start. How did it start?
Where do we start?
How did it start?
It started with the setup of a crisis on the island.
Oh yeah, the stupid people.
The volcano. Who are the stupid people? The dinosaur activists.
No. The start is when people are stealing stuff from the island.
Oh yes, yeah. They're stealing the DNA of the what's it called?
I don't know.
The Dominus Rex or the Abominationus Rex,
something like that.
From the first one, the first one that's like a combination of different dinosaurs that they've put together.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, they're trying to get the DNA from that, aren't they?
Okay, yeah, I didn't get that, but
so that's why they're in the underwater thing, cutting the bone.
Yeah,
and then the big, and then the T-Rex comes, and there's a bit of misdirection. Did you see what they did there? You think he's going to get killed by the T-Rex, but then even bigger dinosaur comes out of the water.
Well, I was like, as soon as he said, don't worry, man, everything in here must be dead a long time. So, okay, that's meant to calm the actor next to him, and also meant to calm the audience, thinking, okay, so we're not expecting any dinosaurs.
Well, it's foreshadowing as well, isn't it?
And I also
something bad
I was thinking, this is we later find out that the dinosaur park was 3 years ago, the event. I was thinking, the lifespan of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Because basically, from what I understood, the dinosaur that was released at the end to save the day was that the original dinosaur in the original films?
What? No,
was that just a dinosaur in captivity? I don't know how long dinosaurs live. Because if they live
well, I'm assuming it's more than 3 years.
Yeah. So
in my head that they would live that long.
But I was thinking they've already. I felt like they've already established that dinosaur survived that many years. So what's 3 years going to do? And it's also why keep the doors open? The submarine goes in, doors open. And then submarine's going around. Don't close the door again until... Surely should let submarine in, doors open, doors close, wait for submarine to get back, and then doors open, doors close. I don't understand why there was why they kept the doors open the whole time either. Doesn't seem logical.
Oh, they were meant to be coming back, weren't they?
Yeah, but after a while, they need to search for this dinosaur. I don't know, just a little thing which is just. Yeah, I thought the lighting in that scene was beautiful. The way it was quite dark, and then the gates opened up, and there was a silhouette of the submarine with the gate lights, and I thought that the lighting in that shot was really interesting, and I really liked they introduced that environment with the underwater first, and then you went on top.
Yeah.
So rather than establishing where we are and then going underneath the sea, I'm using my hands to explain this, and I realise it doesn't relate in podcast language.
No, it doesn't in podcast world.
But in terms of so I thought that was actually an interesting way of introducing this environment. But yeah, and
I suppose they can do that quite easily as well, because we know what we're in the cinema for. We know what we're about to watch.
Yeah,
how can we do this a little bit differently? Perhaps is the thoughts behind that.
It's so the intro it actually reminded me a lot of the original Jurassic Park with the yellow jacket as well. The yellow jacket in the rain. I thought, ooh.
Yeah, I think there was little hints to the original throughout.
I thought that was quite nice.
I do feel like with the Jurassic Park world films, they're so insular in terms of a genre, because they're it's a dinosaur movies. They're kind of like their own genre, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, in a way.
Yeah.
And so what I found quite interesting, or maybe a little bit annoying throughout, is that you have to have certain beats happen. Yeah. Like you were saying earlier, where you've got to have to kill a dinosaur, you've got to release another dinosaur. To kill a big dinosaur, you need a smaller, more clever dinosaur.
Yeah.
It's like these, or at some point a dinosaur has got to climb up something and then howl in front of the moon, the moon, it's just there's little things where they've got do you know what I mean? And there's always got to be a hunter. There's always got to be a hunter bad guy who's not the main bad guy, but he's a side bad guy, and he's going to get it bad because he's horrible, greedy and horrible to the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
he doesn't give a shit about tranquilizers, how many tranks he puts in a dinosaur. There's always that character in there.
Reminded me of a scene.
You know what I mean? There's it's becoming a trope in itself, because there's no other
it's
genre.
hard to expand it when you've not got that much material to expand it on.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're always I think the problem is with the whole Jurassic series is that you're restricted by the fact that the whole film has to be about dinosaurs. You can't make it about anything else.
No.
And so that in itself must be very, very restricting, I think.
I thought in terms of knowing what's going to happen in the first film, when they go into the hallway of the original Jurassic Park, so they find the old park building, and they go in, and you can see that big hallway. When in the original, the famous scene is the dinosaur in the hallway, roaring, and thinking, they're probably gonna get the dinosaur in here, and it's probably gonna roar the same as the original.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You have to have a dinosaur roaring in front of the moon. You're not allowed to have a Jurassic Park without.
Why, if they own the rights to use the music, it's not even a homage to the music. I feel like the way that each film was done, there was no I thought Rogue One was really interesting because you had elements of the Star Wars music, but you never fully had the Star Wars music.
Yeah.
And with this film, I just thought it was really underdone. It's either in the same universe and the story's continuing, and which way just use the music.
I sort of thought that as well. Yeah, I don't know why they're not Yeah, because you kind of want it. You like
really uplifting. It's really courageous.
Like at points you sort of think, right? Oh no, is it there? Is the music there? Is it not?
Sort of it, but I can sort of hear it. If I close one ear and sort of twist my head, I can sort of make out the music. But
yeah, it's maybe a bit too subtle.
Yeah. In terms of the first movie and the second movie, I thought it was interesting the way they did have character development. So, Dallas Bias Club. That's a film. What's the name?
Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah. Who plays Claire in the film.
Claire in the original film treats them as like property and objects and
just learnt the error of her ways.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't know. Sometimes sequels the characters repeat the exact same steps, so I kind of like the way they have her repeat the exact same steps. I appreciate it's not great the way they've done it, but I do appreciate there is a change. Yeah, and how she thinks that animals now. But Jeff Goldblum is back. Back, baby, and he's like in the beginning of the film, and he's also in the end of the film, but it's still the same scene.
I know. I felt for you when one of our things was last week, where you were like, "I hope it's not just one scene," and it really was just one scene.
And
with
so
Jeff.
poorly written, I thought it was terrible.
Yeah,
I thought. Him in the other films are great. I thought him in. I didn't think Thor Ragnarok was a great film, but I thought he was really good in it, and the way he was allowed to be him, and the way he was allowed to just ad lib a little bit, and you know what? And he's actually a great talker. He's a great talker in the way if he's allowed to think. And if he's allowed to like really think and really act through his words, I think it's great. But I didn't feel like he was acting through his words. I would literally think he was just repeating words. And he's like, you asked me a question? Okay, so here's the answer, and here's what we think, and here's everything. No, Jeff Goldblum has more tweaks and twerms and has more... I just felt like they was really poorly directed and really poorly written. As one of the main things you're selling this film is on him, I thought... Shame on you.
Did you look at the writers of this at all?
No.
I mean,
I've got it here.
I got as far as to see. I think they might have done Kong Skull Island. That's about as far as.
They did the first one. Did Safety Not Guaranteed, which looks like an awesome movie.
Who are you looking at?
One of the writers. There's three writers. Colin Trevorrow.
Oh right.
Derek Connolly. And Michael Crichton.
Michael
Crichton.
He wrote the books.
Yeah.
So he's just.
Yeah. Oh, and he's a part of Westworld as well. He read the.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
I just thought it was one of the writers was involved in Kong Skull Island.
Right. Okay. I thought they wrote it together, but maybe I was wrong about that. I think I might be wrong there. So it was just the Derek writer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So you didn't think the writing was great?
Well, no, actually, for the whole film, no. But for Jeff Goldblum's actual scene was terrible.
See, I thought there was some classic moments where there was lines delivered better in the trailer that were in the final. Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
That's how live we are.
Yeah.
I'm sneezing on the podcast.
He just
was that a first? Was that a first?
So.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
First podcast sneeze. Exclusive.
If you like that, comment about it, and we'll be sure to include more sneezes along the way.
OMG.
Yeah.
Someone sneezed on a podcast.
It's no, I totally agree. The trailer was really good. I remember thinking, probably possibly 3 different points, which I thought, that was funny, and it wasn't in the trailer. There's only 3 points.
No, see, what I was thinking about was the bit when he was listing off potential boyfriends that Claire might have. When I see I mean Owen, when they're in that bar scene. And then in the trailer, he said something about dummy, and like there was an extended joke, and it just wasn't in the film, and it's just weird, like because it was better in the trailer than it was in the film. I thought.
Yeah. I was yeah, it was. I only watched one trailer for this, I think. Yeah, and I liked the island stuff, but they weren't on the island for that long. I don't know, about half an hour.
Yeah,
Give it fairly. Yeah. In terms of like, oh yes, so in terms of like the British people, who the girl declared not British, but good on her for trying.
Do you mean the Rent-A-Body gang?
Yeah.
So there's Ted Levine, who's the generic hunter guy. Then it was Ralph Spall.
Yeah. Ralph
who's like the main baddie, and then Toby Jones is the auctioneer.
Oh yeah, good old Toby Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph Spall, that family. Is that in England?
No.
Where is it? Did it say where?
I don't know. I feel like we should know.
Yeah,
it's where the Lockwood estate was.
Yeah, cause I think I was watching it. I'm thinking, where is this? Oh, because all of a sudden she's going to this meeting, and you're showing lots of countryside, and you're showing this big mansion, and the maid is British. And British and...
I assume by the end it was America.
Yeah,
because of the shots that you see.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
But yeah, it's poor for me to not really. Maybe they did say it in a little bit of dialogue, but it wasn't obvious.
It also felt like they got from the island very, very quickly.
Yeah.
To the estate as well.
Yeah.
It was like overnight. So
yeah, because literally, they were traveling by boat.
Maybe it was
then by car.
Yeah,
would have taken ages.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe the same journey.
Well, I suppose we didn't get a sense of how far the car journey was, did we?
Or how fast the boat was going.
Yeah. Or how long the boat was going. Yeah. Because it was like overnight they were rescuing a dinosaur, and then it's sort of like, oh, we're here. You're like, what? How did... What? I thought the Jurassic Island was like miles away. Maybe this is where we need to do a bit more research, James, and be a bit more geeky about these things.
As an audience member, I should. I felt like with Solo, I felt like even though it was like going from one thing to another, I think I specifically made a point of like I never felt like it was just stumbling into plot. And I felt like this was stumbling into plot. What else was interesting in it?
Well, shall I jump in?
Yeah.
Or can you remember anything that was interesting?
I mean,
about this film at all?
Great, they brought back Dr. Henry from the other film.
Who's Dr. Henry?
Dr. Henry's the guy who's
Lockwood.
Who's involved in designing the creatures.
Oh, right.
But you already showed him. So basically, you had two reveal scenes. One reveal scene where the kid sees him, but the kid has no idea who he is. And then a other reveal scene is where the kid points him out to Chris Pratt's character. And it's a bit like, okay, it wasn't really a big reveal the first time. And like, it's not really a big reveal that these are the people.
The people who were working on the super top secret technology were still working on the super top secret technology.
And I felt like in each of the films, they put a lot of work into for the next film. So like in the first film, you always went back to the labs, like they don't know what we're cooking up here, and they kept referencing this creature in this film in the last film, and then in this film you've got this whole child storyline, which at first I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
the kid. But
then the big reveal was so.
If it was
lame.
If they were just gonna leave it, and that's all it is, I thought that would be okay. That might be okay. All right, that's all right. But I know it's gonna be a huge thing in the next film. I'm thinking
maybe I don't know. Like, yeah, I want to try and be positive about this film. I think part of the problem was for me was that I did feel like I'd seen the whole film in the trailer, and I was worried going into it that have I seen the whole film, and coming out of it, I didn't feel like I had seen that much more than what is in the trailer, which is bad, I think. And well, it's a shame because you want like these little, you want enough in the film that you don't feel like you've just seen an extended version of the trailer.
I did really enjoy the bit where they were talking to Ralph Spall's character, and Ralph Spall was saying like, because basically they're having a go at him, and he said, "Look, it's your fault. Like, look what you've both done. Look what you're both responsible for. You're responsible for telling the world that raptors can be trained, and like you're responsible for making them so easily accessible. So by all means, I'm the bad guy, but really, all this is on you as well. Like you.
Yeah."
And I thought that was an interesting concept, and I thought and I thought taking that and also taking near the end sequence where they need to make decisions whether to live, make the creatures live or die. I thought that was interesting, and if they stuck to the guns and let the dinosaurs die, I thought it would have been a better ending to the film.
Yeah, I saw the ending. The twist coming. I mean, it was so obvious what was going to happen.
But what I would have enjoyed more...
I'm a clone too.
What I would have enjoyed more is like actually that girl wanting to free them, but they're stopping her. But then all the creatures that have been sold and go off, they break out anyway. So it's irrelevant, their decisions. They tried to do the right thing, but it's irrelevant because all the creatures are off anyway.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that. I would have preferred it would have added more tension in terms of whether the girl thinks she's actually fits in with these humans or not. That would have been a more interesting storyline for her to leap off.
Yeah.
It would have been a more interesting storyline for... I don't know, it would have been more interesting if they consciously let them creatures die, but then in the end of the day, it was irrelevant what they did anyway. And that would have also had a lot of grounding for how they feel going off as well. Yeah. They're quite hurt. They've murdered a load of creatures, and the world's got all these dinosaurs in it anyway.
Yeah.
I
think it's weird. It's a weird film in lots of ways because it's quite expansive at the start because you're on the island, and then it gets very insular when you get to the estate section. Yeah. And what I find sort of really interesting about this film is in relation to the director. So, because we spoke about this. So J.A. Bayona. So he did Orphanage. He did a film called The Impossible, and he did A Monster Calls. Okay, so first film, The Orphanage, in that list of three. Yeah. I'm highlighting these three films for a reason. Bear with me, James.
Cool, yeah.
Right. So first film, The Orphanage, set in a creepy, big house.
Yeah.
Where like weird stuff happens, bad stuff. The Impossible, disaster film about a massive tsunami. Monster Calls, a big creepy monster comes and destroys a house.
Yeah.
Put all of those three films together and what
you've got this film.
Yeah, it's like you've got the creepy house, the monsters in the form of the dinosaurs, and the disaster movie at the start.
Yeah,
and like so, I think it's interesting. Like, I wonder if they had the script in place, and they've gone, "Oh, this director would be perfect," and like it's almost like the two were like meant to be based on his CV.
Yeah.
Or is it he's got his CV and he's come in and gone, well, you know what, guys, we're going to do all of these things that I've done in different movies. I mean, I don't think it quite played out in that way, but I thought that was an interesting sort of thing. I should caveat that with the fact that I'm a really big fan of The Orphanage. It's one of my go-to favourite film.
I've not seen it, but I've heard amazing things about it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And A Monster Calls is I thought was excellent as well. So I haven't seen The Impossible.
No.
But so I'm a really big fan of this director, and I think what he does really well is he's very good at giving you the feeling of an environment. So when you get into an environment, he's very good at creating how that environment would feel.
Yeah.
So in The Orphanage, and in this film, I think as well, there's a lot of emphasis on sound, but also like making the environment feel sort of lived in. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like it's just like little touches here and there. So like, you know, in the scene where they need to get the chair to get up the ladder.
Yeah.
And somebody slides the chair over. Now, you know, you might just think, well, that's just a chair. But it's really interesting that when she stands on it, it's like you can see that the chair is dusty. It's been there for a while. It's like this is sort of, you know, a place that's been left.
Yeah.
You know, he gives you that feeling of an environment.
Yeah.
And I thought some of the cinematography choices and the direction was spot on in places where, so like the orb, I don't know what they're called, but you know, the bit where they fall into the water and they've got to try and escape.
Yeah.
And like the camera's all done from inside of that. It's almost like one take.
Yeah.
And you know, so I think there was a lot of good choices that really sort of
two things that
add to the movie.
Into the last scene, I like the way the protagonist needs to trying to get into a lock cage, leaves them for some air, because that never happens in like. You seen Casino Royale? See that how long James Bond is underwater? Nah. So I like the fact that he needs to go up, get some air, come back. So I like that part. One part I didn't like was like when they're in the pod, and there's 30 centimeters of air left in there, and they take a deep breath and then they go underwater. No. You take a deep breath at the last bit, at the last second. You don't wait. You never take a deep breath when there's still air at the top. Like you just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Logic. There's also one bit which doesn't make any sense, and it really annoys me. And it really annoys me going out the film as well. So we have a scientist helper. So we got like two people, a doctor. So Zia is the character's name.
You mean Franklin, the systems guy?
No, I'm on about Zia.
Zia.
Sorry,
okay,
I'm on about Zia. So when Chris Pratt gets shot with the darts,
yeah,
she goes and goes to shoot, points the gun at the guy. He did it. I was like, I don't understand what she was trying to do.
Right.
I don't understand because she's like, she's not like saying, she's not threatening anything. She's just putting the gun. And he's like, well, I'll just shoot you. Goes, oh, no, you need me alive because of this. He goes, okay, now I'll shoot you. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was trying to explain the fact that was like that they weren't on the same side. But it did feel clunky, and even after that bit, it felt clunky because there was no information about her going with the other people and Chris Pratt being left behind. Yeah. I feel like there were some edits in this film where the gaps were left out, and I don't know whether it's because the original edit was too long and they, producers were making them cut it down, or there was too much violence and they needed to get it down to 12:8. I don't know what was going on, but I do feel like there was some edits where so there was that scene where she was like had the gun, there was the whole standoff thing, everyone decided not to shoot each other, but then suddenly they're nowhere to be seen, and Chris Pratt has just left, and there was no conversation about are you not gonna so you've just tranked him, but are you just gonna you're taking me but you're just gonna leave him? And then there's no, that to me was a bigger reveal that they're the proper bad guys, because they're just leaving him behind. Yeah, it's one thing to trank somebody because you're like gonna shut them up, but it's another thing to then leave them behind. Like I feel like that's quite an important piece of information to share with the audience.
There's also the extra stuff we've never seen in the when Franklin and the woman were in the bunker thing, and you had just heard on the radio like, we got the package, and then the door shuts and like they're trapped. Thinking, okay, well you brought Franklin over here because he's the only one who can open these doors, and then you just locked the doors. What? You needed him to open the doors.
I think that was all part of the ruse, wasn't it? Because what they actually needed was Claire to put the hand on the on the panel. They didn't actually need him. And
that could have been better set up because
I think I'm not disagreeing with you.
Who's like, and we don't even see them. We just hear a noise and then Franklin opens the door thinking, "Oh, I hope it's not Tyrannosaurus Rex or something," and then
it's some sort of dinosaur that looks a little bit like T-Rex.
I don't really know what dinosaur looks like.
Yeah, I know. It's like I would watch this film thinking I should really know more about dinosaurs because that one popped up and they're like, oh, it's definitely not the T-Rex. I'm like, that to me, that dinosaur looks pretty much as bad as a T-Rex. Why are we like less fearsome of?
Yeah.
I was fully expecting that to be, it's the T-Rex, it's the T-Rex. No, it's not the T-Rex. Oh, crap, it is the T-Rex. Now we need to, worry. I don't know.
It's, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then, just like all the good sequences, I feel like you saw enough in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't anything left. Because you're like, oh, I know Chris Pratt's not going to get in the pod, and then the T-Rex comes at the right moment. It's like that's all in the trailer. It just showed me so much in the trailer. They even showed the creepy hybrid Velociraptor dinosaur at the. You see that in the trailer, so there's no mystery around that.
Yeah,
you basically see everything. What?
You don't see the headbutting dinosaur.
Oh,
which,
true.
That reacts to whistling. You don't see that at all. And is he a friend or not? Does the whistling really hurt him? And is that why he's going for him? Because at first it was like you're gonna attack him from the whistles. And then later on, Chris like, hey, how about we have some fun? How about you cause a dribble? Like,
oh yeah, and that's just reminded me about the. And then so then the generic hunter bad guy comes into the cage, and the Velociraptor's like playing games with him and like smiling at the audience.
Yeah.
Like what was that? I think that they were trying to show you how clever this dinosaur was or is.
I like it when they show how animals are clever through repetition. So if an animal has got hurt doing something, it won't do it again. It understands that now. So I think if you've seen an animal getting tranked before, I know, or something. Well, they did a good thing in the first one because you don't know what genetics are with the dinosaur, and so you don't know what's going to happen. You didn't know it could camouflage its skin. You didn't know it was like part raptor, and so there's a part of mystery towards that. But with this one, you just said, oh, it's just a super genius and it's smart. You don't really know what it can do. You don't really know. I don't know. It's you don't know if it could be immune to it.
Yeah.
There's no information to even understand the logic.
No,
because
you're right.
it was tranked.
Yeah, I mean that was another scene where I thought the editing just jumped as well because so you got the clever dinosaur in the cage and everybody starts screaming and running away, and Chris Pratt has made this statement, this dinosaur cannot leave, and then we sort of cut away, and then we come back to the room. Chris Pratt is nowhere to be seen. Toby Jones is trying to get in a the trank guy, hunter guy turns up.
Toby Jones the whole time, before he ran away.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, where's Chris Pratt? So Chris Pratt was in the room saying that we can't let this dinosaur get out that's in a cage, and then he just leaves it.
And if no one could use a lift,
he just walks away.
If no one could use the lift because no one has the passcode, Then how does everybody else get out of the basement thing? If that's the only way in and out.
Well, I assume there must have been another. Yeah, there was another exit, wasn't there? But Toby. I don't know. It just there's a lot of logical things that just aren't adding up. And like I say, with the editing, like why did Chris Pratt leave the room? So the animal was caged. Like he wanted to stop it, to kill it, or did he not? I don't know because but he was in the room.
And what's the other end?
And then it cut away.
Where did it go?
And then suddenly he was back in a corridor with Claire and the girl. And I was like, what's happened in between?
Yeah.
And why did he walk away from the goal that he needed to prevent? He'd set up his goal, which was I need to stop this dinosaur. But it's not like the dinosaur broke out and then he ran away. Because you would if the super dinosaur gets out of the cage and starts attacking you. Then there's reason to leave that room.
Yeah.
But he leaves or he disappears when that dinosaur is caged before the hunter guy comes along and lets it out. And you're just like, what is going on here? Have they just cut a whole scene out of the film to reduce the time that the film is? Or are some people not making the right choices about telling us how the pieces fit together?
And the blue storyline got me a little bit annoyed a bit because that just went here, there, and everywhere.
Like blue.
I didn't think I'd actually. It's the one time I did actually like Franklin because I just completely forgot about him. Such a forgettable character. And then you see the guy. Then you see the guy
pops up again.
Go get him! And he's like, oh.
that was.
Make me choke a little bit.
Me too. Actually, yeah, I did like that moment.
So and clearly, and also, he wasn't actually trying to be smart. He just literally go with the flow. I know he's not like thinking, okay, so I need to help this guy. I need to be undercover. Yeah, literally, I got to get the feeling he just go with the flow.
He just didn't want to die. Yeah, I did think that was that. There was some moments. Sorry, I'm coughing now as well.
Yeah, last episode we had this episode we had a
sneeze and a cough. I'm just going through all around. But there was like some little moments in the film that were really good, like the boat where they're like pulling away from the island, and the dinosaur was like.
But I would have thought they would have lifted the thing for safety version because of like they're so close to the water and.
Well, yeah, but then you couldn't have had the emotional shot with the dinosaur on the island. Yeah. Like...
You just kept watching.
I know.
Why do you want to... Yeah.
Well, because it was like an emotional moment. Yeah. I thought that was good.
I would have... Wouldn't the dinosaur just like jump into the water? I mean, the same sort of dinosaur jumped into the water in like about 10 minutes beforehand.
I think but that's because they were all stampeding and they couldn't stop at the cliff point. So that logic makes sense to me. Yeah. Whereas this was more like pleading, wasn't it?
He's also so close to shore as well. If he did jump into the water, he'll still be able to walk. Hey guys, follow! Hey guys, wait up!
Okay. I don't think they were going for that quite amount of comedy, but.
What else was there? There was the whole thing about like. Yeah, the explosion ruined the extractor system. Yeah, we never really saw anything. We never saw an extractor system being blown or anything.
Oh, they did show that. They showed them shutting down.
Oh, they shut it down, but in terms of damage, because even when they rebooted it.
Yeah, no, I think it was damaged when Blue was in that fight.
Yeah.
So they used Blue to stop the guards from getting them.
Yeah.
And then. That caused the thing to get damaged that was causing the gas to leak.
Yeah.
There was dots connected there, I think. But, it's not good if you don't...
Yeah.
If everyone doesn't get those...
If you have a kid and they watch this movie, don't tell them to... the way Chris Pratt and the woman speak to the kid for the first time was a little bit weird, a little bit creepy. Hey, come here. We want to be your friends. We want to... I don't know, it just seemed a bit like just really weird dialogue between adults and children, sort of like, I don't know, just really weird. That was really creepy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They could be better written.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think it just wasn't. It wasn't the great. It wasn't the worst movie.
No.
It wasn't. It's not the greatest.
The whole like the auntie was like, because the granddad said that like, oh, you're spitting an image of your mother, and she's the picture, and like she's spitting an image of her mother. So like, oh, okay. I just felt like, all right, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What happened to the auntie? Where did she go?
Fired. Yeah, probably eaten by a dinosaur about half an hour later when she's driving down the road.
Was that it?
Yeah.
She just get fired?
She just fired. Yeah. Although she's been living there for years, she was probably packing her bags.
Well, that's what. Yeah, that's what.
Probably got killed.
Just gone.
Yeah.
Not even going to see that.
And I do really.
Disappearing. You're fired.
And it's like it's also the fake death scene. It's like, he's gone. It's over. And by the way, you're fired. And like.
Oh yeah.
And it's sort of like.
Yes.
And why didn't you hear the machine? Like, dude. Beforehand, why did it only like start happening when she like shook his body?
I don't know.
You don't shake somebody dead. He's like, oh, when he says, "Oh, pick up that phone that's on the pillow and call the police."
Please, yes. Don't suffocate me with the pillow. Just call the police. Hand yourself in. I'm pretty sure you're not a bad guy, are you, Mr. Badman? Rent a baddie actor. I'll get Ralph Spall. And maybe you can get Toby Jones to be your sidekick. Yeah, like everything that I've seen him in, I'm pretty sure he's a bad guy.
Oh, I've only seen him in like romantic comedies
where he's not a bad guy. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's sort of like
maybe it's just my.
And Toby Jones, that scene like 4 million. We had that for breakfast. That's like. It's like if someone was trying to do a really hard Toby Jones expression, like impersonation, that was played. I felt like Toby Jones wasn't actually playing a character. I felt like someone said, "Okay, we've seen you in these films, act just like that, but with this character." And I just felt like, just give him a character. And the whole thing about selling the prototype is like, it's just a prototype. It's not ready yet. It's like, look how much money it's making. We'll just make another one. I don't know. There's so many layers. There's so many things. But I really appreciate them thinking they're adding layers, but they were so minimal. I just felt like
they
they
just
should have
weren't
stuck
clever
to
layers.
one layer and just stuck to one thing and expand it. And
well, have you noticed how there's always another island as well? There's like an infinite amount of islands that you can stick dinosaurs on.
Yeah.
That is never close to another island or.
No.
It's always a perfect island away from everywhere.
I do love the cruel fact but the velociraptors will be killed because they can fly. Basically, all animals that are on foot, all the sea animals, which we've only saw one of them. I'm sure there's more than one dinosaur, like sea animal. But we only saw one in the movie. And
that's not massive.
Yeah. Who's gone undetected.
Yeah.
So far, like. No one detects that whatsoever at all, and they just eat a surfer at the end. I don't know. I think for a mindless film, it probably is okay. I'm not gonna think about it as mindless, sort of like.
Yeah, I think it's just like. Well, it's funny what you were saying about Toby Jones, how he was like almost playing a parody of himself, and I feel like the this film, I can see what they were trying to do. They were trying to contain it to the estate and make it like quite contained, and so I sort of, again there was some interesting moments in there, but I feel like the whole series has sort of become a bit of a parody of itself, and you could probably argue that about a lot of the sort of reboots, is that that are going on at the moment. So they're like a reboot. So I could see how people would say that about Star Wars, where how it's like, they're a new movie, but they're sort of very similar to the first ones, and then there's a lot of hints within the film to the first sort of series.
Yeah.
And so they almost become like a parody of themselves. And I think it's just, I do think like the real issue here is that you're so restricted with what you can do with the dinosaurs. And I think maybe it was like, well, we want to, I'm quite glad in a way that they didn't do what I thought that they were going to do, which was we were going to see the dinosaurs attacking the city and see what we saw in previous ones. But yeah, that's the next one. Yeah. So maybe they are just... I can't remember Is the third one the one where they went back to...
Yeah, with Sam Nielsen.
Yeah, he's back in it.
Yeah.
And then the second one they went back to get the dinosaurs off, and then that's when they attacked the city in the second one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're obviously going that way with the third one.
Yeah.
And that fills me with like dread as to whether that'll be done well or not.
Did you watch after the credits?
Oh, was there a post-credit scene? Was
yes, there is. Yes, there is.
No, I didn't.
And it is boring.
Oh, was it?
Like pterodactyls are like just in pterodactyls are in, what are they, in Las Vegas.
What are they doing in Las Vegas?
They just landed and just looking over Las Vegas. They're going to attack Las Vegas.
All right.
So I think what might have been nice for a post-credit scene is the news report coming on, breaking news of something, and the family we saw in the first movie maybe watching the news and hearing about this. Because there's no mention of the family at all, which I sort of respect. Because they don't need to worm in everything.
What family?
So got the two boys in the first film.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
That would have been better than just pterodactyls landing on like...
I completely forgot that they existed as characters, to be honest.
But the boy knew everything about dinosaurs. In the first one, the boy knew everything about dinosaurs, but his knowledge never really... They foreshadowed his knowledge so much.
Yeah.
But there's never any like payoff to that. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the moral of the story is, if you want to kill a dinosaur, get a smaller dinosaur to kill the bigger dinosaur.
Yeah. Or let him go and roam the world. Yeah. I don't know what... I felt like the second one tried to have lots of morals and tried to bring up lots of questions. And
what, this one?
Yeah. I felt like...
Did it?
Well, it's just about like they never really expanded on it, but like I felt like they thought they had like
what would you think if the new species existed? Would we treat them?
The only thing that I liked is the fact that when Ralph Sproul was going about you're part of this, and whether you like it or not, I did like that sort of like perspective. I didn't
really.
Yeah. Well, I thought they could have, like, say, if they changed the ending, that could have been a really good platform to have like inner conflict on the next film for the characters. So them realizing it's their fault, and them sacrificing the dinosaurs for the sake of humanity because they've sort of inspired this. But then dinosaurs escape anyway from the purchased ones, and so even though they've chosen to try and sacrifice these dinosaurs, it doesn't make any difference because the world is still full of dinosaurs now. I know.
Yeah.
Would have been. Yeah. Would have been quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And who builds this? They're on about the first one. They're about like, oh, we gotta save money. We can't be doing this. You built your park on an island with a volcano, which you didn't mention in the first movie at all. Why invest billions of pounds into this theme park with all these once in a lifetime animals on top of a volcano? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the idea was that the volcano wasn't live, but then it still would have. So even if the dinosaurs hadn't have escaped and took over the island, the volcano would have still been erupting.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, a more interesting film to watch would have been...
Well, how to safely remove the dinosaurs from the island into the new... Actually, yeah, to relocate dinosaurs and...
No, but we've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen.
Yeah. Well, relocated New York is slightly different than, than this amazing island. And,
yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. I just felt like... I also didn't feel like it was intense. I look back, and maybe my perspective on the first film isn't that good. But with the two kids running from the little dinosaurs, I felt that scene was really intense. Really interesting, really intense. And when she's looking at all the jars with the dinosaurs' heads in, and she looks at one jar and the dinosaur blinks, and she realizes that's actually a dinosaur. Thinking that's actually some really good... I don't know. I just felt like there's lots of tension in the first one. I didn't feel like any tension in this one. Maybe because I watched the first one as a kid, and I'm always attached to my feelings when I first saw the first one. Even when watching, do you know when you watch stuff as a kid and it's scary, and you watch it now? It may not be scary at all, but you still feel it.
Yeah, maybe, I know what you mean.
Yeah, maybe my feelings are imprinted on me, but
even like I don't know. I remember watching the Jurassic Park World and enjoying it. Yeah, I didn't think it was like, again, it wasn't the best movie ever.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised at how high grossing it was, but then I probably shouldn't be surprised by that. But I thought, I remember watching it and enjoying it, and I didn't remember watching it and thinking, oh geez, what is going on here? Like, and do we have to have like so many sort of generic moments? Like, and it's like all the misdirection. Like, we're clued up to the misdirection now as well. Where it's like, oh, the bad guy's gonna get it. There's some little dinosaurs behind him. Are they gonna get him? Yeah. No, there's an even bigger dinosaur over there. But then suddenly, the dinosaur comes from a different direction, and you just sort of know. Well, we know, like. We know the misdirection that's coming now. Like, it just...
Well, that was like... on paper, I'm sort of like... It was really interesting because the car could have crushed him, but then the gas pipe in the car clearly broke, so he's probably going to get set alight, and then all the little dinosaurs behind him are going to be eaten by the dinosaurs, and then there's a dinosaur. On paper, it's sort of like, the audience don't know what's going to happen, but it just goes on and on and on. It's like, just kill him already.
Yeah, well, that's...
You know he's gonna die now. Like, who cares?
Yeah. It would have been better if he just got crushed on... So it wasn't actually a dinosaur that killed him.
And the dinosaur sort of like also crushes that bone. Who knows? Who knows how far out the lava spread? Because that bone is still... Even if a lot of lava... There's probably more elements of that bone still in the water.
Yeah,
Jurassic World 5 is probably going to go back to life. Back to it.
Well, maybe. Yeah. But that's the thing, it's like you're so restricted because you've either got to have a park that gets destroyed and then, the people like like are freaking out, or it's like or you've got to have the dinosaurs like away from the island attacking other people. Or there's got to be an island where the dinosaurs could run free, but you want to try and capture them again.
It'll be interesting to see what...
You've got like 3 options of where you can go.
If we're going to have the next film, I think I'd want it to be... Just skip forward like 10, 20 years. What have dinosaurs done to our world?
Yeah, like a post-apocalyptic kind of survival.
Let's just do it. Let's just do that. Yeah. I know you want Chris Pratt because he's bankable. And I realised he's probably one of that... Because one thing I respect from the first one, they don't introduce Chris Pratt as the main character straight away.
Yeah, it takes
wow, that's interesting. Like, Chris Pratt is huge up, and I'm thinking, how close did they film like Guardians of the Galaxy and Jurassic World? They were very close together, and so Guardians of the Galaxy was a flop. And then Chris Pratt wouldn't be a household name. He would guy in the Arrested Development, but that's only a. But they wouldn't be like, oh, Chris Pratt, like. So, yeah, I can sort of understand how, and they sort of they repeat it this time, but you really notice how Chris Pratt isn't there at the beginning of the film this time. And and also the camera movements in this film that don't make any sense. They're in a bar, and like suddenly the camera tracks and dollies to one side. There's a crane shot, and they're sitting down. I was thinking, why are you doing all this fancy camera movement when it doesn't mean anything? And when they're in a prison cell, the camera tracks for no reason, and it doesn't mean anything. And they break the 180-degree rule, and when all of a sudden they're looking in the wrong direction, I'm thinking, oh, what are you doing? No, what are you doing? That's wrong. Why have you just made that? You've just made that mistake. I don't understand.
I didn't notice it, so.
I just. The fact that I was annoyed at the beginning because I noticed some errors.
Yeah.
And the fact that I noticed them near the end, for me, that the whole film's like full of errors. When it probably isn't. It's probably just that one scene at the beginning, one scene at the end. But yeah, that annoyed me.
Yeah. So I think, in summary, for me, there was, there was some nice moments in there, but there weren't enough that weren't in the trailers.
Yeah.
To make me enjoy it enough.
Yeah.
So the issue that I have here is that the trailer is just as good, if not better, than the film. So that is a bit of a scathing review, isn't it? But I think it's still watchable.
Yeah.
Like, I know we're being quite hard on it, but it's still a watchable film. It will still probably make a lot of money. People will still enjoy it. So my recommendation would be if you love, dinosaurs, obviously go see it. If you want a mindless action adventure dinosaur film, obviously, take away the dinosaurs and it
No,
it's not really got much going on. So
the dialogue isn't really that interesting. I think, and I also think it's also quite damaging seeing Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers with how they've written Chris Pratt into it, because Chris Pratt is, especially with the Avengers, you've got a highly emotional scene, and Chris Pratt is being fearless, he's being brave, and he's also being funny. And with this film, I just felt like he wasn't. There's a scene when he's saying we can't this dinosaur can't be sold, can't come out this scene. He was running fighting, but like 90s film running fighting, where he didn't slow down at all. Literally running. Punches one arm out, the guy goes down to the floor. Punches another eye out, the guy goes down to the floor. He barely touches the third guy, he goes down to the floor.
I like these.
And it's sort of like, but it just felt like this is just too simple. His character is very simple in this film, and there's no element of fear. With the first film, when he's in the cage with the dinosaur, and they don't realize the dinosaur's in the cage, and they all start running, I felt like you do see a fear in his face. It's like he's trying to get out of this cage as fast as possible, and I felt like, damn, this guy is like afraid. In this film, I didn't feel like he was afraid
at all.
Yeah.
No.
And I didn't feel like he was just that brave, because he never elevated to braveness. He never chooses to do something dangerous, because it's just him. That's just his character.
Okay.
And and none of his. I didn't think he was that funny. I didn't think that like when he tried to get the food to Blue, and Blue's like, oh, okay, all right, that doesn't work. And that's what I mean. And there was, there was moments that they cut differently in this one, like I was saying earlier. And I didn't think there was that many, apart from that Franklin moment. I can't remember any other hugely comical. I know it got a laugh. It got the only laugh in my cinema was the line "Just remember, you're the one who made me come here," and I thought but
that was in the trailer as well.
Yeah, why put that in the trailer? Just put that aside.
Just hold something back, people, from the trailers. trailers were, are meant to like get you excited about the film. They're not meant to show you all the best bits of the film and show you every single beat throughout the whole film. Yeah. And like it just annoyed me so much that they did that, because if I hadn't seen that trailer and I'd seen this film, I'd probably think very differently about it, and I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. Yeah. And that for me is a problem. So I think that was a massive issue. Anyway, who would you recommend this film for, if anyone?
Got a teenager who wants to see 15 films but can't. I mean, it does push the violence
a little bit here and there.
Yeah, and that's sort of like commendable to them. The actual
keeps
violence,
the blood to a minimum, but
keeps the blood to a minimum, but everything's in shot. There's no like suggested sort of like out of shot sort of like, which the first one sort of did that, sort of like someone started to get eaten and then the camera tracked away.
Yeah, right.
And they never did that with this one. Yeah, so you got a teenager who wants to see something that's for adults, but it's not. But it's very simple storyline. Yeah, that's what I'd recommend. The 14-year-olds. Not 14. What was this?
It's 12A.
Well, 11-year-olds then.
Yeah. just go one year below the rating. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like
that's the thing. If we haven't praised it, but that should be praised, of the amount of like the amount you do see.
Well, I can only off the top of my head, it's just the arm.
That's the arm. Well, people get swallowed whole, but you see them get swallowed whole. And that's how they have to get away with. They get away with that.
But other than those two moments, it's just not really much, is there?
Not really. I don't know.
Anyway, I think people will enjoy it. I think as a regular moviegoer, I don't think you're going to enjoy this film.
No.
If you want to see, if you're not that geeky about films, you probably enjoy this. It's a bit of a no-brainer. You can get your popcorn, eat it, have a bit of fun. Yeah, I think it will, appeal to a lot of people.
If you're not going to see it in the cinema, definitely watch it on Netflix. Have a group of friends over, watch it, have a meal while you're watching it. Do you know when you're just chatting to people and you got this in the background as well? That's probably,
that would work, that scenario.
You don't need to concentrate on it. I remember going to the toilet, and like, if I come back from, it's like this was yesterday. So if I can remember the toilet break just as much as the film, there's something wrong with the film. I remember the toilet break.
What happened in the toilet break, dude?
I had a nice little stroll. I went to the urinal. Like, no one's in the toilet, so I got to choose my urinal. And so
always a bonus.
I'm gonna choose this one, and it was good. I washed my hands slowly, got back to the film, and couldn't notice anything. The plot, everything seemed fine. Nothing happened to you. You walk out at any moment of this movie, and you're not really missed anything important.
I think my experience was hindered by the fact that they put the film on and it was in 3D, and no one in the cinema had 3D glasses because it was meant to be a 2D showing.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's funny actually because the Ant-Man trailer came on in 3D, and everybody was like, "What? Why are we being shown a trailer in 3D?" And literally everybody thought it was a mistake. Then the film started, and everybody's going to their partners. Is this in 3D? This is 3D. No, it's not 3D. And then I was like, "This is 3D." Yeah. Like the first shot, I was like,
"Yeah, oh my god, yeah, I can imagine."
This is 3D. Uh-huh. So like and it took them. What really annoyed me actually is it took them ages to stop the film. Like they said we're going to restart it.
Yeah.
So I went back into the cinema because they said they were going to restart it, but then it kept playing, and I was like freaking out because I'm like, I don't want to see this because A, I can't watch it because it's in 3D, but B, I also don't I don't want to know what happens.
Yeah.
And so that it took them so long. I was like, why is it taking so long just to press the stop button? I mean, there's probably a technical reason for that, but I was just like.
Yeah.
It was just annoying. But, oh well. That slightly hindered my experience. Oh, and then something interesting happened was that the guys next to us were like, because we got messed around so much, they were like, we're going to the premier seats, and like climbed over into the premier seats. And then Rach and I like climbed over into the premier seats as well, because we were like, yeah, we're going to get our money's worth as well. And then sat in the premier seats. I was like, these are horrible. Why do people pay extra for these seats? So we went back. I was like, I'm missing my comfy support now. I went back to the other seats. What's up?
They are disgustingly stiff.
But like they're stiff, but not in a good way. That where you've got like loads of support and you feel like I'm like in sort of almost like roller coaster way where you're like I feel safe now. And it wasn't like lounge worthy. I'm
totally
this
agree.
Is so comfortable that there's a chance I'm going to fall asleep if I sit in this chair. It wasn't either of those ranges of chair. It was like this weird lumpy in between. I was like, why would people pay extra for this? What am I missing, James?
I don't know. Well, the have you been to an Odeon Lux cinema yet?
No.
So Odeon Lux cinema has comfy recliner seats.
Oh, is that the one where they feed you like fine dining?
No.
Oh,
This
okay.
isn't. And basically, if you're a limitless customer, you get it for no extra cost.
All right.
So Lux seats are no extra cost for limited members, but are so much comfier than the premier seats, which you have to pay more for.
Ooh. Where are these available? Are these only in Central?
Swiss Cottage is our nearest one.
But are there anywhere else in the country? In our wider international?
Might be.
National.
I imagine they are.
Okay.
Imagine.
They'll be around.
He says, scrolling through and can't see.
He's doing a classic Londoner thing here now, where you're just
Leeds.
Oh, there's one in Leeds.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll let you off then.
Yeah. Edinburgh.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a few.
Yeah. East Kilbride. Glasgow.
Okay.
Tried to say Glasgow in Glaswegian accent. It didn't work. Yeah. So all in all, I just thought this film was curry on Netflix. I would say.
Okay.
I think it's perfect for.
Oh, curry and
Netflix. Yeah, get a takeaway. Curry on Netflix.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying curry on Netflix. I was like, what does that mean? Is it what's a curry film? What makes a curry film?
Yeah. I don't want.
It's just a film that you'd watch with curry. Is what
you're saying it with such confidence. It must be a thing. So I'm not going to mention anything. I'm just going to.
Yeah.
Just gonna...
What is a curry on Netflix?
I know curry on Netflix.
I know what a curry on Netflix film is. Right. Well, I like that our review has just descended into like not talking about the actual film.
Yeah. Because it's more entertaining. But it's an okay film. If you love dinosaurs, then actually no. To be honest, they keep referencing loads of dinosaurs. I don't know anything about dinosaurs. I don't know about names and stuff. And so when you mention something and when they bring all these new dinosaurs, it does nothing for me.
Yeah.
But someone who loves dinosaurs and they go, oh my god, there's never been one of them on film before. They're not really.
Yes.
We've not seen a visualization of that before.
Yeah. Which is what you got with the first Jurassic World. I felt a lot more. There was a lot more of a range of dinosaurs in there that you hadn't seen before.
But there were snippets of them in this film as well.
Yeah.
It's like so in the auction they had one big dinosaur and with one huge name. I can't remember the name of it. And it's like, okay, I've not seen that dinosaur before. And then and also the head-butting dinosaur and the tank one. Yeah. But yeah.
I think probably like it's a mindless no-brainer. Go and watch it.
Yeah.
But if you like the first one, you enjoy this one.
Yeah.
You probably will enjoy the first one a lot better.
Yeah.
So
a lot better. But still, it's
when I say first one, I mean the first one in the new series.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the original Jurassic Park, just go and watch that film over and over again because it's a masterpiece.
If you want to see this film, get the Jurassic Park theme song on your phone. Every half an hour, play it while you're watching the film.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll make the film a whole lot better.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Enhance it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I
feel like this is like the film is like already dead to us, but we're just like beating it to death with some.
We're insulting it loads, and then we're thinking, "Oh, actually, this was all right." Like insulting loads. Oh, actually, this was okay.
So there were, there was a few moments. What next week?
Next week we are going to watch a horror.
Yay!
Yay! And it's called, drum rolls, please.
That was
I can't remember what it's called.
Hereditary?
Yeah, there we go. Hereditary.
Is that one?
Yeah, it's the new horror film next week. It has who's it got in it? It's got.
I have no idea. I have nothing. I don't know much about this film other than I was talking to Roy downstairs about it, and he was saying that they're saying that it might be this generation's Exorcist, maybe.
Not sure about that. Well, it's got Toni Collette. There we go. Yeah, the amazing Toni Collette.
Yes, she is very good.
Yeah, and so I've seen the trailer.
Oh, have you?
And trailer isn't worth watching. In fact, I wish I didn't see the trailer.
Yeah, I always think horror films are better if you haven't seen. I think most films actually are better if you haven't seen a trailer. But
it's got her in it, and
horror.
she has to. The respect that she's in it means I need to at least not avoid it. I need to, if I've got a chance to see it, I'll see it, because she very rarely lets me down, and she has already proven she is a versatile actress. She's done so much. And so I'm really looking forward to, even if the film is awful, I really look forward to seeing her.
Yeah,
I suspect our main Shiner review next week will be of her. It'll be like,
Well, we need to see if it's the new generation Exorcist. I'm not. This is where I should probably admit that I haven't seen the original Exorcist.
You haven't? Wow.
Is that like the horror film equivalent of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I feel like I should be more proud now. I feel like that should make me really happy, but it doesn't.
No, I think it's because I'm basically a wuss when it comes to horror films. Like it's that thing where like I don't like the feeling of being. You know, some people really, really love the feeling of being scared.
Yeah.
I don't like that feeling.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't like it. So, and also I find horror is very straightforward as a genre.
Yeah.
So I can see why people love it. But like subjectively, horror as a genre is not for me. So
about a year and a half ago, I would have said exactly the same thing as you. Yeah. Exactly the same thing. I think I've watched some interesting horrors in the last year and a half, and I thought, like, Ghost Stories is an interesting horror film. It's based on a play, and the same person who wrote and directed the play, wrote, directed, and stars in the play, wrote, directed, and stars in the movie. It's really interesting. It's not 100% great film, but there are pockets of greatness in it.
Yeah. But I was reading an article about how horror often follows a cycle, so it like comes in cycles. So every sort of 5 to 10 years, you have a cycle of horror films where it sort of gets popular again, and you get some amazing horror films, and then it dips, and then and there's that cycle.
It's also new technology as well. And like found footage was a big thing, then we've also got loads of found footage things, and then social media came a big thing, and then we got loads of horror about social media, and and
there's an I'm sure I briefly caught a trailer for like a Purge prequel.
That's out now, and
Was it out? Is it going straight to TV?
No,
or is it coming soon?
No, I think it's coming soon. I think it's out like any day now.
Is it?
Yeah.
So maybe we
I've not really watched any more Purge films. I watched the first one.
Was there? Oh right, yeah. There was. I was about to say, was there more than one? I knew there was more than one, but I haven't watched.
I think
beyond
there's
the
3
first
altogether so far.
Oh really?
Yeah.
No, I thought
there's definitely 2. I think there's one which no, I think there's 3 altogether.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So, do we know what this film Hereditary is about?
It's about
inheriting
a family member dying, and I think it's about the weird connections that dead family member has on the family, especially a daughter.
Okay.
That's all I really know. There is a synopsis here. I don't really want to read it because, like I say,
it's better to not know.
Already, the trailer is sort of let me down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
Let's,
well,
check it out.
Hopefully, we'll be having the next episode, and we'll be really afraid, and we'll be like, ooh. Actually, no, I don't hopefully that because you don't want to be feeling like that.
No.
No. But hopefully we'll be back, and we'll survive the horror film. And why do I keep saying stuff like this? Well, obviously we'll survive the horror film.
He's just trying to make me more scared as I get into the film.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
You're gonna be the person that
I scared everybody.
Yeah.
Nah.
Or just me.
Yeah, I will. It'll be good. We'll we'll check out the film.
I would say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm kind of not at the same time.
Yeah, well, Turner collects in it, so
I need to
look forward to.
I need to. This is what's good about the podcast is, it forces you to watch TV that you maybe not watch. Me to watch films that I wouldn't normally watch, and expand our screen horizons.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. On that note,
cool.
We'll call it a day.
We'll see you later. Have a good day. And we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. We are going to expand them soon. Feel free to follow us. So when we do, you'll be the first to know. And leave a comment if you have some comments about us. And
spread the word.
Spread the word. Well. And have a good day. All right.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.